Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.
Welcome back, everyone, to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. We are here in the Ignite podcast studio with Kim Eley, owner of KWE Publishing.
Woohoo! Glad to be here.
Kim, thank you so much. And just so you all know, Kim is actually lingering here with me. I dragged her in here. She joined us for our Spark conversation. The week of Thanksgiving, we had a much better outcome than I thought we were going to have.
It was a great outcome.
It was an amazing outcome. I was pleasantly surprised today.
Yes.
And everyone came with amazing experiences and thoughts and really got involved with the conversation.
It was great.
It was great. What did you think about it?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. Excellent speakers, excellent topics, excellent questions to get us warmed up.
Yep. And just so you all know, Kim is actually going to be one of the speakers for our December 16th Spark conversation.
Woo-hoo!
So-
Excited.
Kim, you have a very interesting job.
Thank you.
Tell everybody about what you do.
Absolutely. So I am a book coach and a publisher. I like to say I take writers from idea to published book and beyond. So we focus with KWE Publishing mostly on nonfiction and children's book authors. And we especially have a lot of first-time authors who come and work with us. Yeah, that seems to be our specialty. One of the things that I like to say is I self-published my first book, so I made all the mistakes so our clients can avoid them.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said book coaching, for me, that really sparked a lot of interest because so many people have so many amazing ideas for books.
Yes,
The execution is difficult sometimes.
it can be, absolutely. I think it can feel overwhelming, and the fact that there's so much information out there is both a blessing and a curse, because I think people get really overwhelmed sometimes.
Yes. And some people are so disorganized. And not that that's a bad thing, but like I'm one of those people, mentally I'm disorganized. Like they make fun of me in the office. I've got 5 different notebooks. They all have different information. They have different purposes. And the reality is sometimes I'm like, where's my yellow notebook? It has information on this topic and I totally forgot to pack it with, it's ridiculous. But yes, externally I'm seem organized. Internally, it's a catastrophe.
And you feel good, give yourself some grace because you're not alone. I think a lot of us, especially if we're creative and we have all these ideas flowing, we don't get to always control the rate at which they flow through our heads.
That's true.
And so we could have all these different thoughts. I always say, have you ever heard the expression, somebody said one time, I've got 20 tabs open in my brain.
Yes. That's me.
Yes, exactly. And that's okay. That's part of what I love to do is help bring clarity and focus and accountability.
I love it. What's one of the most interesting projects you've ever had?
Oh my gosh, we've had a lot. Let's see. We did an amazing project for a mother-daughter duo. Gina Euricchio and her daughter Allie. Allie is an adult on the autistic spectrum, and she's a fantastic artist. And so they combined forces. So we did a book for them that's Mother Asana, the art and voice of autism.
I love that.
It was so cool. And so we had all of Allie's artwork. And then we also featured writings that Gina did. And it was an unusual book because we wanted to have something, she wanted something where it can be the whole family gets together and has this book. And, you know, everybody who's on the spectrum and off the spectrum, the whole family.
Everyone can read it and be participating in it.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. So that was one of the coolest book projects we've worked on.
So you guys do children's books too. What are some of the children's books you've seen have been the most successful as far as what parents really enjoy for their kids reading?
Ooh, great question. One of the biggest appeals for children's books is the ability for parents to read to their kiddos. One of the most successful books we've had, amazing woman. She actually is from Richmond area.
Really?
Her name is Valerie James Abbott, and
Amazing name.
she's great. I mean, that's a writer's name,
That
right?
is a writer's name.
And what happened was her youngest daughter had normal hearing at birth. And then sometime between the ages of 2 and 3, she lost her hearing
Completely.
completely. And so obviously her parents were freaked out. Valerie and her
Yeah.
husband were like, what in the world? It's called late onset hearing loss. And it happens more commonly than people know. She wrote the story about it when her youngest daughter was still a little girl, put it in a drawer for 10 years, pulled it back out, and is like, I need to get this book out here. And it's been so impactful because it tells the story of the older sister and the younger sister. And the older sister is like, my younger sister is so weird. She says words really funny. She tried to say the word caterpillar and it came out patapillow. That's the name of the book,
I love
Patapillow.
that.
And it's been impactful because not only is it a great story, she intentionally wanted to have the guide for parents that she didn't have. So the amazing artist, Gina W., I am going to butcher her name if I try to say it. You'll have to see it on my website. But she lives in Richmond also, which is a wild
I
coincidence.
love the locals.
Isn't it?
I love it.
We did a nationwide search and we found someone in our own backyard. So Gina did a beautiful illustration of a hearing aid because it demystifies it for the parents as well as the kiddos when they know what to expect. That book, boy, that little book has put Valerie in front of, university and college audiences. She was the
I can
only
understand why.
Right?
Mhm.
She was the only non-medical person in a medical case study that's going to be published soon. And she's going to be doing a nonfiction book now about families who have been impacted by this. So it's
I
the
love
little book
that.
that could.
I love that. See, and the reason why I asked that is because my sister, loves children's books. Like
Oh,
she's
awesome.
26 years old
Oh,
and she still collects children's books. We go to Barnes and Nobles and she says, I want to see what kids are reading.
right?
Because for her, she externally is very serious and
Yeah.
mature, but she's a kid at heart.
Oh,
She loves children's books because they remind her of that innocence and that
yes.
learning. Then you're not jaded by so much of what's going on in your adulthood.
Yes.
You're learning with a bit more clarity.
Oh, I love that.
And so for her, children's books mean so much.
Yes.
And she always says, one day I'd love to write my own children's book.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. And when I met you, I was like, oh my God, my sister has to meet Kim.
Yes.
She'd be an amazing person to meet because she loves drawing, but she loves our dog Leo.
Oh.
And she said I would love to write a book about Leo.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yes. And so I told her I think now is as good a time as any for her to pursue that dream.
Heck yes. Absolutely.
Especially since she has such a passion for children's books. I actually get them for her for Christmas sometimes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing.
She loves it.
They're so powerful. And I think sometimes, like you said, people will, I don't want to say dismiss them, but they go, oh, it's just a kid's book. But no,
They're a big deal.
they really are.
I will never forget the first children's book I loved. My sister
Yeah.
definitely doesn't forget hers.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget my brother's favorite one. He'll deny it to this day, but I read it to him every night growing up.
Aw,
It's
that's
How
so cool.
Dinosaurs Say Goodnight.
Awesome.
Loved that book. Read it to him every night.
That's awesome. What was your favorite?
My favorite book was How I Feel.
Hmm.
And it was a little girl on the cover and she was upside down and it would
Oh,
talk about her different emotions.
that's
And she would say,
awesome.
How I feel today is happy.
Yeah.
And why? And how I feel today is sad. And then it would talk about all these different emotions.
Yeah.
And looking back now, I'm like, wow, what a great way to teach children how to express their emotions and identify them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, now 29-year-old, calling myself 39. That's what my mom calls me because I act like an old lady. She's like, you act like an old lady.
Just say I'm wise beyond my years.
Definitely.
I love it. But look at the impact that made on you, that you remember it.
Yeah.
And you remember your sisters and your brothers as well. Stories have that power over us.
They do.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love it.
Awesome.
But I love even more that you're gonna be coming December 16th.
I'm so excited. I can't
And
wait.
you are actually, one of the other speakers is gonna be Sarana Blackfoot,
Yes.
and you published one of her books, right?
I
Or
did,
do you publish all
yes.
of them? Because I know she has a few.
Not all of them, but the very first one she did, she self-published, and she and I met. It was funny, we met right before she was about to publish it.
Really?
And then she does a conference called BRIL, Business Resources and Leadership. So we've published all of her books, and so we would include a chapter for each of her speakers.
I love that.
Oh, it was so much fun. I got a really great feeling from that because I got to know the speakers even better. And then we did her most recent book, Money Mindset, and
Yes, she told me about that one.
oh, it's so good.
Really?
She's just got a great way of, I think, especially since she came to the U.S. from Romania,
Mhm.
she had a different, outsider's perspective on finances.
They have a different concept of money.
Exactly.
And the only reason is because of my dad.
Yeah. So you understand. And I think sometimes that can be such a huge benefit because, the expression, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you grew up in the US, you see the US financial system in a different way than somebody does
Yep.
coming here from a different country. So
That's true. When you grow up with somebody like my mom, I said was more Americanized, which is true.
yeah.
Her concept of money is a lot like my concept of money. Not good.
Yeah.
But my like dad's concept of money is more like I came from nothing
Right.
and I want to make sure that I continue to have what I've worked for
Right.
and leave some for my family in the future.
Absolutely.
And so his concept of money way more healthy than my concept of money or my mom. So maybe it's hereditary. I don't know. I think it's a cultural.
It could be a little bit of both.
I'm gonna blame it on my mom.
There we go. Sorry, Mom.
But how can people get in contact with you?
Oh, absolutely. So probably the best way is through my website. And even though it's pronounced KWE Publishing, it's KWE. So the website is kwepub.com. And I offer, just shameless plug, I offer 30-minute complimentary consultations.
Perfect.
And I do that because sometimes, especially for first-time writers, you don't know what you don't know. And I love bringing that clarity.
I love that. Kim, thank you so much. Just all around, thank you for joining us for the Spark Conversation.
Great.
Your amazing input and participation, and thank you for doing this podcast with me.
Thank you so much, Evie. This has been a pleasure.
Of course, and everyone that is watching on YouTube, BBB Central VA is our YouTube channel. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment down below. It really helps the algorithm out. If you are listening on Spotify, please make sure to follow us and share it out. And of course, we are now on Virginia Breeze. So if you download the Breeze app, you can hear us talking about all of our amazing podcasts.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.